Hey guys, it's Brandon, aka B.Rich Beauty, aka your beauty best friend, and happy Monday, y'all! We're talking all things reality with me and guess who? Jeremy McShann. So, you know what to do. Grab your beverage. Let's go! Jeremy.
Brandon.
Was that water in your hands?
This is my wonderful water today. I need to stay hydrated because these girls on Salt Lake City are a little thirsty. So I'm going to stay hydrated in honor of them.
And in honor of them, I have my red wine because of that drama. The dinner from hell needs to
Oh my
have my
God.
cup overfloweth. So therefore,
Overflow.
I have my red grapes. What you say, Jeremy?
I said overflowing.
Yes, God. How was your week, by the way, Jeremy? Well, how's your Monday? How was your weekend?
You
Tell
know,
us
my,
what's going on.
I know Monday is going well. Weekend was good. I went out for a first Sunday fun day of the year. So that was always a good old little time.
That was your first Sunday fun day
It
for the year.
was. It was my first Sunday fun day of the year.
Okay, sure. If that's what you're selling, we'll buy it.
I mean, what? What? Why I got to lie, Craig?
I didn't say you was lying. I just said if that's what you was selling, we'll buy it.
Ah,
But I digress.
Shade has started already, y'all. Pray for me. Let me get through this show.
Look, where's your strength?
Okay, that's what I need this morning instead of this evening. See, I don't even know if it's morning or evening. I need my strength.
You don't know where you're coming or going, but all I know is I am ready to dig in for Salt Lake City. Is you ready or nah?
It's ready.
Why is there arguing at that doggone dinner table?
I do not. I do not understand why they keep arguing. Also, like you really have to pay attention because I get confused on what they really be arguing about, and so I cannot go through my
That's how they
phone.
be arguing. It'd be like this.
Yeah, I do not because it's just like here and then someone else start arguing, then we pick back up. It's confusing. I do not know, but we do get a little tea from Whitney that probably part of the argument between Meredith and Jen is that Jen may have slept with the guy that Meredith was messing around with when she was in her separation from her husband.
You heard that? Now, if I recall correctly, did Jen and or Coach Shaw ever take a break?
There was no breakation happening over there in the chalet.
The Shaw Chalet. But so if that's the case, Whitney just put Jen on blast for cheating on her husband.
Did. And Whitney was like, they not gonna tell it, but I'm gonna tell it. And I was like, ooh, Whitney, girl.
Girl, that's not even your story to tell. But is that what do you think that's why also like Meredith was like, do not come to me with this BS because I know things and I got bones to carry as well?
Listen, of course, that's why Meredith was unfazed. She sat in that chair the whole time, Jen doing her normal Jen stuff, and Meredith just sitting there looking like, girl, you don't want this for real. Now, Meredith was the star of the show today, though. Meredith was the star of the show today by far.
They came after Meredith. But you know what I think is quite interesting? The fact that Jen was doubling down on her delusion, saying that she had never done anything to Meredith and or her family. Can somebody re-roll the footage? Like, I'm so sorry. What are we watching the same season anymore?
We need to rewatch the entire first season because not only the whole things with Brooks and what's happening, child?
This brow's a little darker on this side than this side. Sorry. Your beauty best friend's brow. I didn't know. Sorry, I digress. I didn't realize my brow was a little off, but go ahead.
Oh, listen. Only I can't even tell over here. So
you ain't got your glasses on, that's why.
Oh, y'all, what? It is too much on a Monday, y'all. It's too much on a Monday. But anyways, Jen was the one that was telling people about Meredith messing around with all these people, and she talked about that on this show. So even if that's the only thing, that was way too much to be talking and running your mouth, especially if I told you this in confidence.
Right. And the fact that if memory serves me and recalls me correctly, didn't Jen talk about like Brooke's quote unquote sexuality?
She
Didn't she
did,
show Brooke her vajayjay?
apparently. So
So so if that's to be said, oh, it's something just I got some breaking news. We got some breaking tea, y'all. But
I'm
I'm gonna
breaking.
hold it. I'm gonna hold it. There's something that just came through on my phone right now that Jeremy and I was just talking about before we went live. So, I can't
Oh,
keep going, Jeremy. I gotta
oh,
take a sip real quick.
child. I don't listen. Let us get through the show. So I need to get this tea. But anyways, so I agree with Meredith. She's just like, do they really think that I had something to do with her arrest? Like, as if the FBI needed Meredith assistance on their case.
FBI
They
and
do their
Homeland
job.
Security,
They do
like
their
they
job.
could not do their job without Meredith's help.
Right. And so, Meredith goes and she's a little upset. She leaves the dinner. And of all people, it was really weird that she called Brooks and not her husband, because I would think, you would call your husband. So I just felt like she was trying to give Brooks more airtime. So that's
I
why
mean,
she
Seth
ended up
might have been still eating his cake from Whitney. He might have been his mouth might have been full and
Oh,
unavailable.
his mouth was not full. So it just kind of rolled my eyes at that moment, because I'm just like, okay, she still got the show in the forefront. But, she, is upset because they think that she has something to do with this. And I agree with Brooks. And he was just like, well, even if you did tell the FBI, she still allegedly did these acts. And it doesn't matter if you told him or not. If she did these acts, it's still atrocious.
Right. I agree. I completely agree. And not only is it atrocious, the fact that it baffles me that they feel like they're grasping at straws for an argument. And the fact that Whitney is up and down from the table trying to insinuate that because they didn't get on a van, that was because Meredith was pulling a Todd. In the words of Aunt Bertha, it was Todd who set up to bring us the bullshit.
There was a scheme set up by Meredith and Mary.
Right.
Hit us with the BS.
bullshit.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out, how did this story go from just them not riding on the van, and rightfully so. Like, in Meredith's mind, she doesn't want to sit next or be in the same space as Jen, but that automatically equates the FBI and the Homeland Security situation. Come on, somebody. Make it make sense to me.
And
Y'all
then,
grasping at straws.
right. And then Lisa does not make it any better, because I guess she goes into the room and tells Meredith that, what everybody was thinking, that her father's memorial was an excuse for her not to be on the bus. And, that sets her off. That reminds me of that scene from Bad Girls Club where Tanisha's like banging on the doors and she's like, get up.
Get up today.
Get no sleep. And it was so funny because, like, literally it's early in the morning. She's screaming to the top of her lungs, asking people to come out and talk to her. Like,
meanwhile, you got folks in the bed. Eating sugar babies in the morning.
I don't understand why she is eating these sugar babies this early in the morning.
That's what you can't understand. Bump diabetes. I'm trying to figure out why Whitney is holding a whole serving pitcher walks into the room with the serving pitcher in her hand and gets into the bed with it. Like, sis, there was no dresser, no floor nearby. You put the serving pitcher down.
It was not. So yeah, I mean, Meredith was not here to be played with. She does not play about her family.
And rightfully so.
Then Lisa comes into the room and she's acting confused why she don't know why Meredith is mad. And I'm just like, girl, what? You literally just came in here and told her about what you were doing, and now you're going to pretend like you don't know why she's mad.
But you know what's quite interesting is like Mary Cosby's like lack of like social awareness, and the fact that Mary comes in with like 2 omelets, one for her, one for Meredith, is like, you want your omelet? And they're literally having a conversation and commences to eat her omelet. And it takes Lisa to say, can you give us a private moment? And Mary didn't look like she wanted to leave.
She did not want to leave. And I think it was more the fact that Lisa asked her to leave. If Meredith would have asked, she probably would have left. But Mary was just like, ain't nobody about to tell me what to do. I'm going to sit here. And she was looking at Meredith like,
Exactly. Mary was like, oh, y'all need privacy? I mean, the door wide open and y'all over here arguing, but y'all need me to leave?
And
Okay.
then she turned around, like Cecil said. I loved how Mary just stood there where she was asked to give them privacy. She got to the door and she still stood there, took another bite with her back facing them before she walked all the way out. So that was too crazy.
That was the funniest thing to me. I was just like, Mary, of course, Mary is just going to stand here and not care while they are over here trying to have a whole private conversation. But you know what actually warmed my heart was the fact that Mary, Jen, and Meredith had their kumbaya moment. The fact that Meredith had to provide solace to Jen the Frost Shaw, it was like, wow, she really is getting over on everybody.
I just cannot. This lady cannot terrorize y'all in one moment, and then the next minute y'all giving her solace. Because listen, it'd be different if she started acting like this as a result of the trial, and you could be like, "Oh, she's unraveling." But this chick has been acting like this since we first met her, like acting crazy. And there's no way that you could be acting this crazy, and you think I'm about to hug you because you are mad because you stole my grandma money. Like, girl, what? I just don't understand.
Not stealing the elderly's coins from the collection plate.
Stole it all. So I don't know.
Now, you know what so outside of that, I feel like this episode gave us a lot of stuff in the moment of like in the beginning that was chaotic. Then it kind of tapered off and then it ended. And I was just like, okay, the episode was a little stale, it was a little dry. Like we got all the chaos in the beginning. But what I thought was quite interesting though, was the fact that like, one, Jen really did bring a whole glam squad. Did you see how late she was to dinner?
I'm so mad at this. Why your mama is trying to like turn in her whole retirement for your fun. You got about 3-4 of them. Now, if you're gonna bring one, I'm making slide you down and you could be like, I'm downsizing, bringing one. Let me see which one
somebody
of y'all
that does hair and makeup.
Okay, let me see who do both.
Somebody pulling on the weave and somebody beat in the face. Like, man,
there was another person up in there too. So I was just like, I just cannot. This is like disgusting at this point. Where you are talking about you got to downsize a house and go to a 2-bedroom apartment, and this crazy to me.
Exactly. But you know what's even crazier? The fact that Mary told her she didn't care. She like Jennie doesn't matter and doesn't exist. But then when she apologized to Jennie, the fact that Jennie admitted to having anger issues, so much so that she spent a year in anger management, and she says she throws things at her husband. So go ahead.
That is the real story. We need the producers that did, because the man want a sister wife over there and Jennie,
more babies, and yet he's ducking and dodging like he's at a whole baseball game in his house.
And so that was crazy to me. And the fact that she broke a rib of his, like, that's abuse.
That is thank you. I was like, is nobody clocking that she's physically abusive with her husband?
Her whole husband, this little lady.
Not only is she physically abusive with her husband, she's also a racist.
Oh Lord. Now this is late. I don't know what to say. I think she's highly prejudiced, but I'm not sure if we can call her a racist.
Jeremy, did you see some of these Facebook posts?
I saw them. Let's look at them.
First of all, you're not going to tell me, and this one was August 2020. And here's my thing. Hold on, let me move my bang on my face real quick.
Uh-oh.
This was 2020. What was happening in the United States of the whole America in 2020, Jeremy McShann?
This George Floyd situation.
Racial unreckoning, George Floyd, knees on neck, people being killed and shot, folks rioting, looting, and trying to burn this ish down because the system is broken. That's 2020. This was not a post from 2010. This was not a post from 1998. But this was a post from 2020 and the height of racial reckoning. And you're going to post something like this, talking about asking her to apologize for slavery is like asking her to apologize for Pearl Harbor? No, ma'am, that's not the same.
It's not the same.
You're going to post, I'm sick of people saying cops need more training. You had 18 years to teach your kids it's wrong to loot, steal, set buildings ablaze, block traffic, laser people's eyes, overturn cars, destroy buildings, and attack citizens. Who failed who? But mind you now, the whole Caucasian audacity allows for folks to riot, loot, and turn over cars if their football team loses.
That part. 100%.
If you follow the officer's orders, you won't get shot. My Lord.
Yeah, it's wild.
And that's not racist to you?
So, so I think it's ignorance for sure. When we think about racism, I think about racism is a systematic oppression of a racial group, or it's found that like a systematic thing withholding a certain group of people. And I don't think with Jennie being Asian, she don't have that power. But I do think it's highly prejudiced, but I think it's more than that, is ignorance, right? I think we learned a lot during that 2020 racial reckoning that people were just highly ignorant of of reality, especially realities of what's going on between police and Black people and different things like that, when those institutions are highly racist, right? And so while I do feel like people believe that we really do need the police, and we do to a certain extent do need the police for certain situations. However, these institutions have been ingrained in racist policies that overwhelmingly impact Black people. But to most people, especially people that are not Black.
For me. Okay. I was trying to let you finish. I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's all right.
Here's my issue. These posts were woven into the fabric of her Facebook account, first of all, right? So she had posts of like family recipes. You're going to tell kids, we were all in the middle of this Pandarosa. We were locked down in the house, right? So you're not going to tell me that you're posting needlepoint, you're posting, recipes that you're cooking with the family, you're posting outdoor activities, and now you're posting a racist Facebook post, and it goes back to next another recipe or some other hobby, painting the house. You literally have these peppered into your day-to-day life. And the fact that she doubled down and said, I apologize, I thought I wasn't being racist, I thought I was bringing attention to the violence that was happening, sis.
But I mean, so I do. There's so many people when you talk to them, and I think this is one of the issues why it's where people I don't talk about religion or politics at different functions. We need to talk about these issues because we need to understand where each person is coming from so that we can move forward and learn how to talk about these things. But I think in one end, people are so diehard of the police, and they're like, you know what? They don't really understand. They just don't understand it. They're not educating themselves or in a position to be educated about these issues. And on the outside looking in, yes, we do need the police. We do need the police. And why are people downing these police? They're not Black. They're not understanding that, every time Jeremy, drive down the street and a police is just passing by me who ain't even worried about me, that my heart starts beating fast because of all of this stuff that's happening there. They don't understand these issues.
Right.
And but they need to understand these issues. But so I do think ignorance, definitely 100% ignorance.
But the fact that, and we can say this because we are existing in Black skin in America. Sure. And I get that. Like, yes, I have been pulled over before and have been nervous. I have a running joke with one of my aunts in Charleston that I don't drive to her neighborhood after dark because I had a very scary police encounter at leaving her home one night in Charleston. I get it. But the fact that there's a difference between a level of ignorance and unawareness versus posting something like this and this was August. George Floyd was just killed, if I'm not mistaken. We were dealing
but
with
I think if we look at our posts, right? One with old dude Ken John on there. It's like, if you follow the officers, you won't get shot. So really, it is still of the ignorant belief that if you follow police orders, nothing will happen to you. Which in reality, I mean, in you would hope that that is what the case, right? That's what's supposed to happen. Police are there to serve the best interests of all people. So
Protect
if
and
they
serve.
are there to do that, then if we're following orders, nothing should go down. Or if they're complying and following the laws, nothing should go down as well either. And so it's not really steeped in like Black people. And then now, what I do have to give a side eye, where she was talking about, there's hundreds of Blacks shot and many killed by other Blacks of the week, and the killing, but you're
Absolutely.
saying the police are the problem, which I hate this whole Black on Black crime thing, because there's no such thing as that. All crime is usually committed by the same race of people. So there's white on white crime, there's Asian honey, sis, you came on a boat, on a like piece of wood from wherever you came to this country because of
Vietnam,
systematic
she's Vietnamese.
oppression. I do
Exactly.
not understand that. And so, like, there's white on white crime, there's Asian on Asian crime, there's Hispanic on Hispanic crime. So this Black on Black crime theory to me is crazy. Most crime statistically is done by the people of the same race.
Now, okay, so then let's fast forward past all the politics here
Okay.
and talk about a couple of things, right?
All right.
One, does she need to be canceled?
No, I'm just not a fan of cancel culture, because I think that in this case, we're watching a reality show about women and their lives and their opinions about things. And this is her opinion about it. Whether people agree with it or not, it's her opinion and what she believes to be right. And so why do we cancel her for what she believes that is right? How is her, Jennie, Real Housewife of Salt Lake City, belief impacting largely negative opinion on something?
So my issue with her is her apology did not seem sincere. It
It
was
wasn't sincere.
I
It was a sincere
apologize.
job.
It absolutely. It was apology that felt like it had to happen because right now they're in the middle of filming this new season, right? Without Mary. So in order for this to be addressed, she had to apologize because God knows I know they're talking about it, right? Meredith posted a tweet saying she called it vile. The internet said you need to say more than just that. She goes, I can't right now, but I promise I will address it later. Then you had Lisa on Watch What Happened Live, who talked about it and said she is completely against racism. It's not good. They're talking about it on the show, right? But the issue I had, and a lot of other people, is that Bravo didn't say anything, and neither did Andy. Until now, breaking news, Andy has just broken his silence on it. That's what I was mentioning that came through on my phone right when we started the show.
Yes, child. What'd he say?
So Andy said on his Sirius XM show, he says the posts were very upsetting, rightfully, and disgusting. He also explained that he felt like the need to speak out after Sunday's Watch What Happened Live episode, which featured Jennie's longtime friend and co-star Lisa, who only briefly addressed the situation. As Andy put it, people were very upset about the lack of discussion on last night's episode relating to Jennie's disgusting and upsetting post. I've also seen all the tweets wanting to know what's being done about those posts. He continued, but not before providing some important context. The Watch What Happened Live episode was taped last Wednesday, just as Jennie's posts were going viral. In fact, it wasn't until Wednesday evening that Jennie issued her apology. Added Andy, I just want to say, in case anyone doesn't realize it, that there are many serious discussions happening right now about everything, and I can't address this situation right now, but it will be addressed very soon. Thank you for your patience. Now, what do you think about that?
I mean, I usually listen to Andy, so I must not have been in the car this morning when he was talking about that on his show on Channel 102, Andy. But I think it's just so weird because, like, as disgusting as Ramona is on New York, we never hear any apologies for her behavior, her disgusting, especially with this whole like situation this past season where she had went to the Black Shabbat dinner, acted a like Nene said, a black fool. And, Andy was just like, said her behavior was not bad, but he was kind of laughing it off when he was interviewing her on Watch What Happens Live. Kenya Moore had to issue an apology for wearing
that Native American
a whole thing. And it was a whole situation for that. And now I feel like anytime things happen to Black people or against Black people, it's just always just kind of pushed to the side. It's just nothing. Like, it doesn't matter. It's not that big deal. Oh, it's not bad. We
So
don't agree with that.
So do you think there's a different expectation against a non-person of color saying something that's racist? Because technically Jennie would be considered a person of color because of, like, her background and Asian hate and things like that, versus someone like, when we are making an infraction, we're held to a different standard. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I think that is, oftentimes the case. I think we can also look at the Bravo and the Vanderpump Rules thing, where they were fired because of how they threatened to call the police on the Black girl when she didn't do anything, and some other things they said. And now, Andy's backtracking was like, oh, well, I think that was happening when we didn't think Vanderpump Rules was coming back, and maybe they could come back on the show, which is like crazy to me. So you just said that because you thought the show was not coming back at all. And then you get the whole thing with the lady in Orange County saying all her crazy things about like this COVID and stuff like that, and seeing a lot of just very Trumpian ideals, which we all know that go against, that are steeped in racist ideology. And, they just kind of give it a pass. But, Kenya, which I don't agree with, wore this little headdress, Indian headdress, that she said that she was part Indian. But I guess y'all took the same Ancestry.com test.
Well, I knew. Wait. Pause on the petty. Pause on the petty.
Yeah, wow.
Because I knew where you was going with this, and I was trying to circumvent and get in front of you because you're rude, first of all.
Ready? What's up, boo?
2, I knew you was going to try to pull some ish. Now, whether Kenya is part Native American or not, that's not for me to know. I don't know her Ancestry.com history, but I do know my Ancestry, not the .com history, and I got the photos to prove it, boo.
Let's see it, boo. I need to see these. I need for the next episode for you to upload it like you just uploaded this photo of Heather.
Don't you worry about me and my family.
And we need to be all the way up in there. We want to see those beautiful eyes that Mary loves in the photos. We want to see those eyes. And so, yeah.
Are you done or are you finished?
I'm here listening to you, boo.
Okay, so moving on, I agree. There is a different level of expectation, but also we also know, though, that Housewives of New York is being postponed because of, I think, the whole Ramona situation in Ebony. But I say this. See, Jeremy, you starting stuff. Listen, be ready. Don't fall for it.
Be ready.
Don't fall for it. Okay.
The people want to upload. The people want to see. And do not go Google. Listen.
You actually can technically Google my grandfather and he pops up. So technically.
What's your grandfather?
I digress.
What's your grandfather's name?
Jeremy, can I finish my comment, please?
Y'all, he don't even want to do it because what he knows is while we on this good live that I'm gonna Google it and blow up his spot. But
first of all, can you quit causing disruption so I can get my comment out?
Listen, get your comment out. See,
he's trying to cause all this distraction, y'all.
It's like Lisa, y'all. He tries to spin the narrative. They spin more webs than Charlotte over here. Okay, they trying to control the narrative.
First of all,
what I'm
about to do is try to sow seeds of discord up into this live, okay?
Who is your daddy? That's what I want to know.
As I was saying,
everybody type in the comments, who is your granddaddy? So that we can all go to Google and look it up. Thank you. As you were saying,
is your granddaddy?
Yes. This is your granddaddy.
Anyways. So for me, I think, one, if she's not canceled, she needs to be put in timeout. I don't know. And here's my issue. This is why I'm kind of low-key mad at Mary right now. There's no Black representation that we know of on this show right now. So all of this stuff has now happened as it related to Black lives and Jennie's racist post, and there's no physical representation. So I want to know, outside of Jen having, her Coach Shaw and her Black sons, there's no cast member that's Black. That this would be the perfect time for Mary's crazy ass to hold somebody accountable.
Mary not holding nobody accountable. Mary don't even go to 7-Eleven because our people are out there on the corner. Mary was not holding nobody accountable.
I need Mary to have one job and be the martyr in this case.
Listen, it's just yeah, I mean, it's been really interesting because it's since Housewives have tried to integrate, they have now running up with these issues that they don't really know how to handle and take care of these issues of race and people's understanding of it and how it impacts things, right? And so it's happening across all these franchises there, and they do not know how to handle it.
Because you know why? They do not have, and look, you can go down to the Google, Jeremy, and fact check me. I would be really interested and curious to know if Bravo even has an ID&E department within the network. Like, who's what you say?
What kind of what?
ID&E, Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Department. Like companies, let me tell you something. This whole pull up for change that happened in the midst of all of this required people to start hiring ID&E for their companies because they realized they did not know how to handle this and there was no equity across the board. So I wonder, as a network, because Bravo's a company, does Bravo have an ID&E department to work with people? No, because they would not be running into these issues.
Agreed, but I think had we rewind back a few episodes when I was telling you that they need to make these talent people take these classes on diversity and stuff like that, because I think what happens is a lot of times we all don't realize our biases that are explicit and implicit. And for us, learning those are definitely very helpful, especially those that have been in a majority, that to understand how those that are in a minority have had their story portrayed, and you now are viewing that. And so you need to be aware with that, especially if I'm going to start interacting as a co-worker, as you as my co-worker. They threw Garcelle up in Beverly Hills just to throw her up in there, and she just had to deal with all these microaggressions. She didn't have like 2 feet to stand on to defend herself, because what's she gonna do? Talk about it, and then she end up like Ebony in New York. People always mad about her for educating people when she like, dang, I don't want to be here educating, but every time I come here, it's another thing after another thing, and ain't nobody else doing it. I
told my coworkers, I said, I am not going to be the victim and the teacher here. If you genuinely want to know things, then you have to do the education on your own and see. I'm here to answer questions that feel logical, but you can't look at me and expect the person who's being traumatized, the person who's being victimized, to also show up as the professor and the educator here. That's not fair. And so the fact, to your point, what is the casting director's job? Why did they not vet Jennie well enough to understand that only 2 years ago she made some racist ass pose?
Let's look at who the casting directors are, and I'm sure that there's not people of color that are probably in these casting these shows. And so Inclusion, Bravo, and other companies get a freaking clue. She didn't say freaking, I added that just because, get a clue. And Cecil saying blame Bravo. They exploit this stuff. They knew this stuff was surface. Yeah, I mean,
Do you think so? Do you think they really did their due diligence and really vetting her, and they found it and they just didn't say anything because they knew this was going to come out? Do you think they would be that irresponsible? I'm just asking.
I'm curious of what the process is and how deep of a dive they really do on cast members. And so I don't know.
You don't think if we're about to be casted for a whole television show, they're not going to go down to our social medias and look to see how far back they can go?
I mean, I'm sure they're going to try to see that, but what are they actually looking for, right? And I mean,
to make sure you didn't dress up to go to a plantation party.
Okay, listen, but you know what? I would imagine like even that they don't care because it's bringing them more press, right? We're all talking about Salt Lake City, and we're talking about it right now.
We are. And so as we wrap up, here's what I have to say about this.
Say it.
Do I feel like she should be fully canceled? No. Does she deserve a timeout? Yes. And the same type of timeout that Portia did when she laid hands on Kenya and was eventually able to come back, Jennie needs a timeout.
I don't agree with that. I think
that's fine.
Portia's incident happened with an actual coworker in real time. This is something that had nothing to do with that show, and she was expressing her opinion. And so I think those are very, very different things.
So sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me is a lie. So the fact that she may not have laid her hands on somebody on that show, her words have impact. You saw through we all saw firsthand that there's a Black producer that sat on that van that had to witness the fight between Jen and Lisa. There are Black people working behind the scenes. And if I was part of this network and this production and I had to show up to support her after she said certain things, like, how do you want me to show up?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not showing up for work anymore at being traumatized. Bump that.
Okay. I mean, you make a very fair point about how her words impact the people that are working for there. But I mean, it is an interesting thing, right? Past shows make it seem like new housewives are referred. They're kind of referred. That's the goal. They hopefully, one person at least knows them. Right. But I do think that are we watching? Do we want to watch a show where everybody believes and thinks the same kind of way? Maybe not.
Dude, that's different. No, I don't want you to believe and think the same way. I just don't want you to be racist. Okay. Is that too much to ask for? Yes, it is. Because we live in a whole, there's people that think the election was rigged. And on that note, I'm not even going down there.
Woo. Yes.
All right, guys. Jeremy.
Yes. Now, y'all, I ain't gonna be here next week, so I'm gonna miss y'all.
Out of work?
I'm calling out of work. I'm using my hard-earned sick time PTO.
Are you sick?
No, I'm not sick. I'm using my hard-earned PTO from B.Rich Beauty Incorporated.
LLC. It's an LLC.
Oh, okay, yes, child. Take everything but my own stuff, okay? Yes. So I'm moving, y'all.
The people want to know why you calling out of work a week in advance.
I'm moving and it's on a Monday, so I will not be here, folks, but I will be here the following week, and I'll be here to talk to you all. It's probably the finale of the show, so I'll be here to talk to everyone. So I just won't be here next week. So great combo.
Well, we will miss you, Jeremy McShann, as you have. Hey, friend in the background. Who there in the background?
You can say hello to the people.
Hurry now, we about to wrap up the show.
Okay.
Hey, friends.
Hey, what's up?
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
You're getting ready to kick Jeremy out because he called out of work because he said he's moving into his own apartment next week.
Yes,
y'all. Moving on up. Moving on up.
Listen, I'm moving on down. I'm down from where I'm at right now.
We like friends that could do for themselves. God bless the child that got their own. And on that note, guys, we got to go. You know what to do. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave us a comment. Should Jennie be canceled or not? I really want to know this. Y'all let me know. Who loves you? I do. See you next time. Bye, guys. Without Jeremy on Monday. I'll see you on Monday.